Hey, yo, what is goody, mob? It is your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again, Chicago. How are y'all feeling today? We got the crew in the stew.
Is this thing on? Word.
Sitting to the right.
What's good?
At about 280. Feel like I'm being generous. 5'7.5".
5'7". What's really good? I'm on the O-line. I already tried out. I'm going up there.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Two Letters. If you knew better, you would do better.
What's really good?
Sitting a little bit further up to the right.
Hey, yo.
We got that man that's always on, the Don Lon Juan, Stefan the Don, the man formerly known as Ringo J. Y'all can check out his latest album, Soulful Tones of the Windy City Breeze.
Thanks.
How y'all boys feeling today, man?
I'm good. I'm good. No complaints. No complaints.
I am not good. Let me tell you right now. I am upset today. I am coming in here mad spicy.
Yes, sir.
Got the custom going on.
I see you with the nice little custom jersey. You feel me? How's that?
Fine, drippy.
What is that, velvet?
Hey man, yeah.
I feel like our audience is so vast and different, bro. Like some of our audience get that joke and some of them don't. Because I had somebody comment on the video, the last video. He was like, "Man, I'm 62 years old. I just want to see them win." And I was like, "Dog, we are moving up in the world."
Dig with the Spike Lee.
You know what I'm saying?
Am I gonna have to die?
Am I gonna have to die before the Knicks win another championship? Nah, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us, man. As always, this is the Windy City Breeze, the only show that's talking Chicago sports the way Chicago talks. Make sure y'all like the video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the page because we do talk Chicago sports weekly. And we don't want you to miss a thing, so make sure that you hit that bell. Man, let's get into the show, man. Let's get into the show, and we will be able to get y'all opinions. News came out today. Matt Nagy basically came out with a 12-minute press conference of nothing but insightful conversation and heartache for Bears fans. I think I can go out there and say that. Just to recap what we heard from Matt Nagy. Tevin Jenkins is going to be having back surgery, which is going to be kind of the first thing that we really get into.
Real quick. Alexa, play My Neck, My Back.
Oh wow, no, too early.
Really? That's where we're going, bro?
My bad. They're gonna put me in timeout. They're gonna put me in timeout. My bad.
Tevin Jenkins having back surgery at his size and weight, dog. I'm telling y'all, that is a year injury. Probably will not see Tevin Jenkins this year. I would be surprised if we saw him get on the field. Injury to Justin Fields' groin. Tight end Cole Kmet has a hammy. Nose tackle Eddie Goldman has a back. Somebody who, the two people that I said would be the most integral to what the Chicago Bears are looking to do this season, both out with a little bit of injury. Akeem Hicks left practice early. Not really sure what's going on with that. And Roquan and Quinn did return. So we did get a little bit of good news there.
That's good.
But the conversation on Tevin is the one that I really want to get into because to me, this is a guy who Ryan Pace went up to take. And you're talking about an offensive lineman, a 300, what are we saying, 350-pound man?
Yeah, pretty much.
Who's going to be starting his career with back injury.
My neck and my back.
How do you guys feel about him moving forward as a viable piece for the Bears?
How old is he? You said?
Let me get an age on Tevin. I mean, young. I mean, let's say 22. Let's say 22.
He's good, man.
But we've been here before with Ryan Pace picks in this situation.
He's still growing, pause. You know what I'm saying? So, look, my issue is the timing. As I was saying off mic before the show, if knowing somebody has back problems, but you think they have an upside, smooth.
And here's a caveat. Here's a caveat to your point. This is something he left his last college game with 2 games left in the season. Now they're saying this is a different injury, but he left his last college game with back issues.
So it's a different issue, same back. That's but okay.
What?
No, look,
It's
like
a different issue, same back.
Yes, like your back is your back, though. It's no like
That's a good one though. But they say lower lumbar issue. We're talking like L1, L4 for the medical people out there. By the way, don't think I know. I had to do some serious research on that. I listen to ESPN 1000. Shout out to Yurko. But L1 to L4 is the lower lumbar region, lower back issue.
So obviously it's something a massage can't fix.
I mean, it has to be. Are we talking about a spinal issue? Or are we talking? You know how the NFL is back. He got a backiotomy. You know what I'm saying? He's got a backiotomy going on right now.
What do they do in hockey? A lower extremity.
Oh
issue?
yeah. Could
Something
be the
like
back.
that.
Could be the feet. Who knows? I don't. Oh. Everybody just froze real quick.
I gotta reactivate that.
But I think the thing is, like, to me, when we're talking about coming into a season with somebody who is dealing with a back issue, who consistently is going to be in a car accident. Let's be honest. The offensive line is a car accident. Are we talking about another black eye on the face of Ryan Pace when we're talking about this draft pick? Are we talking about another player who, listen, I love a Jalen Johnson, but Jalen Johnson right now at this point is a guy who was not able to finish the season due to an injury that he dealt with in college. Tevin Jenkins is now coming in as a guy who is not going to be able to play due to an injury that he's dealt with in college. Kevin White was a player that we drafted that was unable to continue to play due to injuries that he had in college and then injuries he sustained during this. Even when it goes down to signings, Robert Quinn's a player that came in as somebody who came in with issues with injury issues.
Can I introduce this though? And it's in reference to Baki's comment. Shout out to Baki. Can we even expect athletes to come into a professional capacity not having any injuries? Like, is that even possible?
What you mean?
Not having extensive history of injury? Because it's not football, but you can imagine football being even worse. But I know kids who play baseball in high school are getting Tommy John. Freshman, sophomore, junior year.
But Tommy John has become now ACL surgery, I think, is still a little more serious, but it's become like an ACL. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the 80s, if you had an ACL, you were done.
Right.
Careers ended off an ACL. Now you got an ACL. It's like, well, you better be back before the season over.
Right. But I'm just thinking okay, cool. Like anybody who comes in at a professional capacity, they're going to have some type of injury. His situation is a back. Can we name any players that came in kind of injury prone, but got it fixed and then went on to have professional
listen,
career?
I'm not. I don't want.
Todd.
Go ahead.
Todd Gurley did. Todd Gurley did. He had the injury in Georgia, but
yeah.
You also have it where because I was just looking at it last night on YouTube. They got this thing called they usually show it on NFL Network, but it's called "Hey Rookie, Welcome to the NFL," and they was just showing everybody's journey.
Right.
They have these facilities built where it's you're going to spend X amount of months with us, so that way you're in the best physical shape, and these mugs really don't have any injuries.
Okay.
They really don't. So they always have those facilities built, and by the time they do get ready to go to a team professionally, they should already be ready and in shape and ready to do what they got to do for that team to go ahead and make their money.
I got you.
So I can't really
I think
say
the thing
but,
to me is
yeah.
and Petty Casanova on the way, ladies and gentlemen, just
Hey.
dealing with technical difficulties. The biggest thing to me is why do we keep doing this? Like you knew he came in with his injury.
Right.
You have to ask yourself when you're giving up capital and things like that, is the juice worth the squeeze?
I mean, a rookie.
He is a rookie. And listen, I'm not. I don't want people to think I'm saying that we're coming in and I'm saying, hey, Tevin Jenkins is going to be a bust. That's not what I'm saying at all. And when you think of a success story, somebody the Bears have, Eddie Jackson came in with a broken leg. He's turned into one of the better safeties in the league.
Right.
Tyrann Mathieu.
There's a ton of players.
Oh yeah, that's
but at the line, it's such an integral position, and especially at the tackle position, you're at a premier position in the NFL. Are you going to be? It's not like, I mean, think about every lineman ever. When the injuries start to pile up, usually later in their career, it's not like they just come back perfect. You're dealing with a car injury every single time.
You know what though?
Every single
I'm not worried about ankles, thighs, and knees.
But you know what though? I'm not even
gonna tell you something. It don't matter what position you at. If your back is bad, you lay bird.
And I'm not even.
You an athlete with a bad back. Listen, you ever had a bad back and tried to walk down the steps? You know what I'm saying? Like your back is everything. Your back is core.
Fact. But even to buffer your point, I would just say, I mean, look at so I'll take you back to a couple of years ago. Jalen Smith, and I hate bringing this up because I don't like this team. Jalen Smith, Cowboys, winded up hurting himself, came back, had a really good second year.
Mm-hmm.
After that, they go out and draft Leighton Vander Esch. Now the whole time, everybody's thinking like, yo, Leighton Vander Esch is dope. He played these games, but he already had a neck injury. Kept piling up.
Yeah.
Same thing. After a while, like he just didn't get the take. I mean, he's still on the team, but the defense is not the same because he's not as healthy. Now, my question to you is, well, to everybody in the chat too, is this more on the training staff or the
scouts
or the scouts by not doing their full due diligence? Because you can tell me that, oh yeah, okay, Tevin Jenkins has a back injury.
Yeah.
But how extensive is that back, bro? Okay.
He had to one up you with the jersey. He absolutely had to one up you with the jersey.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, entering the chat, Petty Casanova.
Okay. That's
the pettiest
fine.
man on the planet. PK, what's good, my boy?
What's going on? It's nothing. I got more heat on the way.
What's good,
I got more heat on the way.
Is it an and one jersey at that?
It is what it is.
Bro, he got the hot sauce jersey.
It's a classic hot sauce jersey, dog. I'm sorry, I had to do it to you.
It's nice. It's nice.
A Coke and a smile.
I'm not mad at that.
It's nice.
Shout out to A1 Mixtape.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
No.
If you know, you know.
I think, and you know, Kid, kind of welcome to the chat. You know, we're talking about your boy Pace. I think when you get into the conversation of, is it on the training staff? The NFL is forced to share their information. So whoever's in the draft room, whoever's coming on, all the teams have to share what they found medically. So it's not like the Bears went into this. I mean, we're talking about teams that twice, not once, twice, passed on Tevin Jenkins. And I'm not saying he's going to be a bust. And listen, if he ends up being an all-pro player, guess what? All of this is null and void.
Right.
But the problem is right now that this is not, if this was a one-off, or if this was the first unsuccessful player that Ryan Pace brought into the Bears that wasn't able to play due to a previous injury, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. But we're talking about not only players he's drafted, but players he's signed that all of a sudden in training camp, hey, he can't go. Jermaine Ifedi, Robert Quinn. Like this has been a continuous thing. And so now it's like, hey, yo, look, what's going on in the room? Now, when you talk about a Robert Quinn or a something like that, that's on your training staff. Because, and maybe you give him a pass because it's a COVID year. He wasn't able to kind of get him in there and work him out, see how he's doing. But I mean, we're talking, you gave a lot of money to somebody like that. And Tevin Jenkins is at a position where he's going to get a lot of money and he's starting his career injured. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've watched Kyle Long. I've watched a lot of those guys who, once the injuries start, they do not stop. James Daniels last season, all of a sudden he got his first injury. Now it's been injury after injury after injury. You're too big. You're playing a position that is too key and that is literally an accident every time. You're going to get hurt. You play the one position on the field where there is 0% chance you are going to avoid contact.
I just think with certain positions, the level of or the degree of which an injury is like a playthrough type injury, decreases depending on the position.
What you mean?
So if you're a lineman, like Pat keeps saying the phrase, like it's a car accident every time. I'm sorry, you need time. Like you need time for that to heal.
That's the season. I wouldn't play him at all this year.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't play him at all this year.
Just like baseball has kind of extended the roster so you can have a plethora of pitchers, should be the same with linemen.
But you're not playing 100. You are not playing 165 games. Though,
let me ask you all this: why is everyone so big on blaming him now when the whole reason why Jenkins even slid was because of the potential injuries? We knew that it was going to happen. We knew that was there. So,
well, I'm gonna tell you why. From me doing my report, when we was covering the draft, it wasn't just an injury. It was also the weight, because you do gotta remember, like, I feel like nowadays too many people, like, especially when they go look for offensive tackles, like they dimes in the rough, like Muggs is out here looking for a Michael Orr.
Yeah, you are.
You see what I'm saying? Like you trying to look for those.
That's a once in a lifetime kind of play.
Yeah. So it was like
I know
it
who
was the
Michael
weight.
Orr is, but what in him are they trying to look for? The skill set at that weight?
Nah, because it's all about the feet.
That's natural.
You
know what I'm saying? That's natural.
It's just natural.
But to me, to answer Kid's question, the reason that you have to look at him now is because when you're talking about the draft process, yes, he left the last 2 games with the injury, with the back injury. And according to the Bears, it's a different back injury, but I don't care what you say. Y'all ever had anybody ever hurt their back and something else instantly started hurting because your back is hurt? Like, your back is your central of your body. When you draft him, when you move up to draft him, when you give up capital to draft him, you're thinking that the Chicago Bears have done their due diligence with him and he's your starting tackle this season because that's how Ryan Pace sold it to you. You're thinking that he's going to be able to play. They didn't sell it that, hey, Tevin's coming. Listen, if Pace had Embiided us, and that's the player I thought about. If he had told us a Joel Embiid, listen, we're going to take this guy because we think he's a very special talent. He's not going to be able to play this year. You take the scrutiny up front, but guess what? If he turns into a heck of a player, anybody talking about Joel Embiid's back now? When he's putting up 50? You know what I'm saying? When he's dominating, when he's playing as the best center in the NBA, when healthy. Nobody's saying, oh, Joel Embiid got drafted with that back injury. He had to sit out that year. But you didn't sell it. You didn't sell him to us as that. You sold him to us as not even as high as Justin. You sold him to us as he's coming in here to be your starting left tackle for the next 10 years. Starting now.
He's on a 4-year deal. He's on a 4-year deal. So, I mean, realistically, he has the opportunity to do it. And then on the top of that, while you fix that light, we're going to get that straight one day. On top of that, the question I know was, is this does this bring anything against Pace? I say no. Look at all the other moves that's happening to shore up some things that we need for this team. I mean, they just brought in another. I don't know why I have a hard time. Isaiah Coulter. I don't know why I have a problem saying that last name. They brought in another offensive tackle. Matt Nagy has gone on record several times saying Ryan Pace and the team are going to bat for any of the missing things that we have. Anything we need, they're immediately on the phone. They're trying any and everything to make sure that we have a good team. He's doing exactly what you need him to do. And so, unfortunately, it didn't work out. Maybe there's something they need to do in training staff. But I'm gonna tell you what, I don't put a groin injury. I don't put a groin injury on Fields on Pace.
I don't put Fields' injury on Pace. I think.
I don't put Tevin on Pace because Tevin was there. He got hurt. All right, that was a chance you take at trying to get a good talent for that position. And he was the best talent available at that position, at that pick for the time. So he rolled the dice. Maybe it worked out, maybe it don't. But guess what? That's the risk you take.
But this ain't the NBA, bro. Second round in the NFL ain't a roll the dice spot. Second round in the NFL is franchise players.
Who else would he have dropped? Who else would he have picked? Who else should he have gotten?
Late in the game, there was still.
Who else should he have gotten?
You had all defensive first team safeties that you could have
safeties. But what did we pick?
Not you know, because the question was what was on the board. I'm telling you what was on the board.
But here's the thing.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right.
Agree. But this is the thing when you're talking about it, you need, and listen, for the people that are coming in here saying that you cut Charles Leno and now you don't even have a left tackle at that position. That's true, but Charles Leno was trash. So I don't put that on Pace in the slightest. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's recency bias at its finest. Musk is like, but we had Charles Leno. I'm like, this man was holding every play, and it's real tough to block when you chasing the defender to your quarterback. That's real tough.
Bro, you would rather get somebody off the street and train them to do things properly and than to have somebody who's going to get in there.
We needed a tackle, just as it's mentioned in the comment. Who was the other tackle available?
No, because Mekhi Becton went early.
Becton went
so
early.
What was the other guy at that position that we should have grabbed?
But let me ask you, Kid.
You couldn't. He went.
But Kid, this is the thing.
Yeah, you said you couldn't, right? So the moment you say he couldn't, that argument goes out the window.
No, because this is the thing. How good is Tevin Jenkins on the sideline?
Okay, but that's the chance you take, because what if he wasn't on the sideline?
Hey, listen, I'll take a player that's not on the sideline every single time because you knew he was coming in with this injury.
Who?
That's why I'm saying
that position.
It doesn't matter. Let me tell you something. He's not at that position right now.
Okay, that's
He's
great.
Not at that position.
That's great. But who will we like we said we wasted the pick on who? What other should
let me tell you.
What else should we have drafted?
It's not a wasted pick if you bring in a player that can play. I'm not even saying Tevin Jenkins is a wasted pick. I'm saying that Ryan Pace continues to not do his due diligence when it comes to these players. And even if you do know that he's coming in with the back injury, tell people that he's not going to be your starting left tackle this season. Don't sit here and say, okay, yeah, he's going to be the starting left tackle this season. We plan on him coming out and really giving us some good production with Andy. No, he's not. No, you're not, because his back ain't right. You knew his back wasn't right coming into this. You knew his back wasn't right 2 games before his last college season ended. You had teams that passed on him multiple times. Passed on him on multiple picks. That's a premier position. How many quarterbacks in the NFL are left-handed? It's a small percentage. You know what I'm saying? You got to protect the left side of most of the quarterbacks in the NFL. You got teams that are looking at him, and teams that we hold in high regard offensive line-wise, teams that needed offensive linemen. Heck, the Ravens passed on my mans. And they knew they were losing Orlando Brown. You know what I'm saying? So like that's when you start to look at it as, okay, listen, am I saying that he's going to be a bust? Am I saying that he's going to be a problem? I don't know, but I'm going to tell you this. He's a 350-pound man with a back issue. It's not like it's just going to be all hunky-dory the rest of his career. You might be missing out on you might have made that pick in the second round, and it again goes towards, is this another pick that's high that Ryan Pace has messed up?
And I'm gonna just add on to this too. I feel like with him not being in there, you lose out kind of on the running game too, especially if Justin Fields does play, because when you look at it, right? So last night and this morning, I was watching the top 100 NFL players for
that must be
last
cap
season.
90%.
No. But the thing is though, there are so many offensive linemen in this year's thing, and on each team there's a combination like on the coach you have you got Ryan Kelly with Quentin Nelson, Saints, Armstead, and then you got Ramchek on the other side. Last year with the Packers, you guys always talk about the Packers. The Packers got a good offensive line. Aaron Rodgers looks so good. Bakhtiari, Lindsey.
Yeah.
Last year we talking about the Ravens so much. Last 2 years they led the league in rushing. Orlando Brown. On one side, you have to have these. You have to have these all pro guys. It has to start at the line, because if it does not start at the line with those pseudo quarterbacks before you actually get to the quarterback who's calling those things out, you got nothing. You got nothing. Justin Fields will look like Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
All I'm saying is, thank you for posting that comment. I'm with Calvin. This very channel, we have our own video talking about how emphatic we were about Tevin. And so at this point, and even then, when that video came out, I knew he had back history problems, just like we know that Justin Fields has knee history problems. Yeah. He had two injuries on the same knee, high grade, and that's actually very close to another, Chicago native, different sport. But Derrick Rose having severe tendonitis in both knees when he got drafted. Yeah. Like you know that history is there with those type of things. You roll the dice, and guess what? We were all on board with him when we drafted him. We loved how he came in. Guess what? Keep the same energy now. Let's just hope the man recovers and gets back to it. We don't know how severe the injury is. They know significant time, but significant time could be what? 4 games, maybe? We don't know what it is.
He's having back surgery.
Depends on what it is. Again,
you're not going to be out 4 weeks with back surgery.
Bro. It's a back surgery.
And it's
why would Daddy say that we hope to have him back this season? So let's say he misses half.
Listen, you can hope all you want
this is the thing. He also said he was going to be the starting left tackle by the time camp started. He also started camp on day to day.
Hey, listen.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the problem when it comes.
Were we not on board?
You said what?
Were we not on board when we got drafted?
Here's the thing. It wasn't
not on board.
It was not. It was not.
Trading cap. Be on board now.
Listen, that makes no sense.
It makes perfect sense.
That makes no sense, because this is the thing.
Pace was a good GM before, right?
Let me tell you something. No, Pace got one pick right. I said I'm back on board because you finally went up and got the quarterback you were supposed to get. And we still was all, hey, look, go look back at the clip. We still was all sweating thinking he was going to pick Mac Jones. Hey, look, but this is the thing. This is the thing when we're talking about it. When he makes the pick, we go to rookie mini camp, we go through all of this stuff. We're thinking the back is fine. It's not until training camp. The Bears are in such a way injury-wise right now, they didn't even finish practice with pads on today. Like we're thinking that Tevin Jenkins is fine coming in. Oh, he's day-to-day. He's got a little tightness. In what world does tightness turn into surgery? He's got a little tightness. Now we're talking about surgery. I don't think, I'm going to be real with you. I don't think it's an overreaction on our part to say that, listen, Ryan Pace, why do you keep going out and getting injured dudes? It's worked out one time. Hopefully it works out twice with Jalen Johnson. We do got the phone lines open as well, man. The Contender phones, man. Make sure to call in to the show, 855-908-5668, the Contender, where you're basically getting nonstop sports talk, Chicago sports all the time. We talking Bears, Bulls, White Sox, Cubs. Maybe not a little less Cubs now, you know what I'm saying? A little less. But hey, look. I'm surprised Kid didn't get as spicy during that Yankees series because
I want to talk to you about that later, but we gonna get into that because I got some real questions.
We gonna get into that. But I'm not too worried. But make sure y'all call into the show, man. We do got somebody on the line right now. Let's go and see. We going out to the 773. Silas? Silas,
Yo,
what's going on with you, my boy?
what's up, fellas? This T right here. What's up, fellas?
Oh, what's going on? T, how you feeling, man?
Going on too.
No, I'm feeling this. I wanted to say on that Tevin Jenkins, you right because you right. The simple fact that they knew and they still, but I like you right, like what you were saying, like ever since they drafted him, but you can't hey, he had how much time he had off after he left the season in college. He had a lot of time off. The man carried down 45 plate weight, so you will never know. It says I believe in like Pete Kidd say he probably will be back week 4 in regular season, week 4. I give it because you got to look at it. We didn't get it to our second preseason game, so he got number time. A back surgery, he got number time. So I think about week 4 he'll be back in. And yeah, it's like I don't think y'all overreacting, but I believe like you gotta give it time. Like yeah, he all right tackle, but we just brought in Jason Peters, so we brought him in for a reason. You feel give him some time, and you feel work out what he needs to work out. Jason Peters is on the only one against the hill, so we got number time. I ain't sweating him. I think he a good talent. You know, but everybody knew his back was. That's why he fell in the draft. So that's why I believe he'll be good. I don't think we need to overreact. You feel me? Because he's a good player, and once he on, we get some hits like Eddie Jackson. We get some hits. You feel me? Once they on, they on. But once they off, they off. You know what I'm saying? We get some hits. You feel me? Like Floyd. He was the first round draft pick. He wasn't injured or something, but you feel me? If he hit, he hit. But if he don't, you feel you know how Pace is. Pace drafting for future. You feel me?
That's why I see the whole.
He's never drafted for league. He drafted for what they're going to be. And the only reason he drafted Mac Jones because Nagy drafted Justin Fields. That's why we would have had Mac Jones though. Trust me. If it was led up to Pace, we would have hit Mac Jones. If it was on Pace. But I think that was Nagy picking. You need to protect Justin Fields. And Justin Fields got a whole year to wait. So
Justin Fields got a whole year.
Got a whole year to wait. Yeah. So I ain't really tripping.
All right, man. We appreciate the call, man. You made some excellent points. I definitely agree with you. Stay safe out there, my boy, all right?
All right, y'all. Stay safe, brother.
All right, man.
All right, man.
No, hey, listen, go ahead.
Justin, not only does Justin have a whole, like I'm not concerned about Justin's injury at all either. For the simple fact that was
Justin. They still planning on Justin playing.
Hey, listen. I'm not trying to have him do anything. Let him work out that groin injury because guess what? Andy Dalton is gonna come in and be the professional that we need him to be. Guess what?
Yeah.
On all fronts, we are in a way better position than we were last year. Way better position than we were in the year before. Even with Tevin going down, some of the moves that they've made to shore it up. To shore up this team, I'm still big on Pace because guess what? It takes some guts. Pace is doing something that, guess what? You can talk about him trading up to get Mitch, trading up to get that. Didn't he trade up to get Darnell Mooney? Didn't he trade up to get David Montgomery? Who else did he trade up to get?
Did he trade up for Monty? He did trade up for Monty, didn't he?
He traded up for Monty.
Montgomery?
He traded up for
he was just there. He didn't trade up. He did?
He traded up for him. He traded up for he traded up for 3 people.
He's traded up for a lot of people. He just traded up for a lot of people. Traded up for Leonard Floyd. Traded up. Listen, I'll say this about Pace. I'll say this about Ryan.
He's willing to take a chance.
He gonna go for it.
He J.R. Smith.
Hey, look, he J.R. Smith. He J.R. Smith. But listen, he been up one too many times. You know what I'm saying? He's been up one too many times. Time out
though. So do you think he drinking Henny or he drinking something else?
No, Pace is definitely doing a Russian vodka for sure. Come on, come on, bro. Like straight from Russia, like pure. You know what I'm saying? Like he has a Russision delegate delivery.
Eddie Jackson.
Eddie
Jackson. He traded up for Eddie Jackson.
He did. No, but
again,
okay,
but
listen,
that made sense though. That's a game changing.
But Eddie Jackson came in.
Eddie Jackson made sense, but we just didn't run him. Why? Because Nagy didn't call the right plays. Anyway,
agreed. No, Eddie Jackson came in with injury. He's 1 for 4. He's 1 for 4 on that right now in the draft right now though.
But he came in with injury, but we knew that year when Alabama
he
lost.
fell. He fell in the draft for a reason. He's a safety with 2 broken legs.
We knew that year when Alabama lost.
You know what I'm saying?
It was because of Eddie Jackson.
I guarantee you right now, if Justin Fields hurts his knee, they could be like, well, he had 2 knee injuries in 2019. Like I'm not putting that. I'm just saying, like, that's the reaction we're having, right? Like some of these players, they come with that.
Here's the thing. Here's the difference.
But if Justin hurts that right knee right now, they could be like, there go Pace drafting. But look at all the stuff. Look at all the fanfare that we had. Just like hey, be real, man.
Hey, look, no, but here's the thing. Here's the thing with Justin Fields. Justin has the ability to get out of the way of somebody hitting his knee.
Until it gets hit. Until it gets hit.
Until it gets hit, that's true. But Justin has the ability to protect his knee. Justin has the ability to get out of the way. Tevin does not have that ability.
You're right.
Tevin does not have that ability in the slate. Tevin has no opportunity to not get hit at the line. He has no opportunity for his back to not take blunt force trauma every single play.
I get it.
And so when you're talking about you do have to there's varying degrees of injury. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm when they drafted Kevin White, what was Kevin White? An ACL, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Kevin White was dealing with a knee injury, I believe.
Right.
You drafted a wide receiver that was dealing with a knee injury that 100% of his game relied on speed. He had no route running ability. His hands were okay. You drafted Devin Hester and said, "Hey, his knee messed up." I got a problem with that. You drafted Jalen Johnson, a corner that needs to have his shoulder in place to play the position to tackle people. Hopefully he'll be 2 for 4. Hopefully he'll be 50% in that. I hope Jalen Johnson comes back this season and does end up being the number 1 cornerback for the Chicago Bears and turns into an all-pro that we think he is. Just gonna crack.
You know what's the funny thing about this comment you got right here?
Which one?
Yeah, good.
The comment that you got right here.
Yeah.
You know who else the scouts were high on?
Who?
Mitch.
yeah. That's why it's like, come on, dog. Like the ESPN. Listen, Mel Kiper be wrong a whole bunch amount of times. He be right about like the first 5 picks, and then it be hit or miss the rest of the time.
Because he was
Devin, call back in.
You said who?
Devin, call back in. He hit me. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ringo.
Hey, because I was gonna say he was big up in Josh Rosen when that man came out.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
he was like.
But they get college athletes.
You get
right.
It's crazy because if they come, like, it's so much stigma and assumption that comes with college.
College is
if you play for the SEC, that's like football minor leagues. If you play for you know what I'm saying? If you play for the SEC.
He's saying it's like the NFL minor league.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
They play SEC. It's like
they
NFL
joke around, but they
leagues.
be serious. Like the best SEC team could probably beat the worst NFL team.
They could.
And I'm like, these
Let me tell you right now, they could.
These 18, 19-year-olds, they are not facing millionaires.
Getting rolled by 40.
Right, bro. No.
Getting rolled by 40.
So
Stop.
it's just like they're weathermen at this point. It's
Hey,
like
look,
in my grade, and like not.
This is the comparison I always say when Muzz bring that up. By the way, 74 people in here, 30 likes. Let's get them likes up, man. We appreciate the love. This is the thing that I always say. You ever hooped against somebody that's like D3? Or you hoop against somebody that's like in the G League or something like that. Like I've hooped against a couple dudes that's in the G League. And they look like a god.
They eat.
They look like gods.
You
just like fam. How you not in the league, bro? You
really
just did a 360 through the legs.
We be talking about how J. Cole they just playing pickup.
Oh, he
might eat.
I don't know.
He might eat at export. He might eat at export.
I got buckets.
At export, he might eat.
Cole ain't eating on me.
I got buckets for J. Cole.
Cole ain't eating on me. Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm getting back in shape. We've been running some ball. I'm back on the court. I'm getting the defense back right. Let me tell you something. Cole gonna come out of that game and talk about I ain't never been here before. No, I ain't never been here before. No,
I'm not gonna lie.
Kyrie with the homie, he's like, bro, I can lock you up. And he said, in what universe?
I got five.
Hey, look, Kyrie a little different.
Kyrie different.
I'm not even gonna lie.
I can't lock Kyrie up on one bad leg. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not even gonna lie though. Pat Post defense kind of good though. I'm not even gonna lie.
Man, look. Man, look, I was so sore after playing that game.
I'm a calculated fouler.
Calculated.
Don't call me no hack.
I got
Don't call me
six.
no hack.
I got six. I know how to use it. I got six. I got six. I know how to use them.
I'm gonna give you a better story. We played
what?
against a chick that played in man, I really wish I remember her name. She played in the WNBA. And that sounds big, but they really do get done dirty. So it's like kind of like a spotlight on them because she was even telling they don't really make the bread we think they make, but they train just as hard in some respects. And when I'm talking about hooping, Shorty could hoop. I mean hoop. In and out, hezzy, easy money. Like she could shoot left, right. Like there was no flaws in her game. She the only the only flaw. I mean, it's not even a flaw. It's like she was a woman. She was a smaller woman, but she could hoop. There's nothing she couldn't do. Nothing she couldn't do. She was just hooping with guys, and so it's just like people need to quit it. These people who spend their life in the gym, if they really put their mind to it, it's not even a question, bro. It's not even a question.
And look, that's why like when Muggs was talking about like Cole going over there and hooping and stuff, I was like, it is kind of disrespectful because like, yeah, you can play ball, but like you getting into a professional league that somebody that spend their whole life doing this could do. You know what I'm saying? Thanks. We got really sidetracked on that, but hey, listen, J. Cole, if you're watching,
hey,
stop it.
What is it? The Chicago Wilson League is getting in the playoffs.
Chicago Dogs?
Yeah,
Chicago Dogs?
No, like the Wilson had a Chicago league for like
the shot.
I ain't even heard about this.
Yeah, I think they play in Chicago State.
I ain't even heard about this. That's pretty decent.
Yeah, they do it every year. Well, they used to do it every year. It was COVID, but yeah, it's tight.
Yeah, they brought it back.
It's the best talent in the city. They go.
So I'm like,
that's interesting. I would check that out. I would definitely check that out. Make sure y'all call into the show, man. 855-908-5668. Give your opinion on your thoughts on Tevin Jenkins and Ryan Pace, man. What are you guys thinking about him moving forward? Are you guys worried about Tevin Jenkins coming into this season? I'm gonna tell you what. I'm worried about the Bears in general. What's going on? What's going on in training camp right now?
They ain't been.
We're so injured right now.
I'm literally just worried about the corners. That's all I'm worried about.
Now, let me ask y'all this, because we've seen this as well before too. Is this a? I would rather see these injuries now, get them taken care of, and then later in the year we feel better about it. Does that really work in the NFL, or does this set an omen kind of for the rest of the season that hey, look, it's gonna be one of them years where everybody finna be hurt?
Now it's time to play we have the actual numbers versus what's going on. Like you have the numbers of injuries that happen before you reduce the amount of practices. Now that you reduce them, now you need to look at the amount of injuries that you still have and see which numbers are what.
Yeah.
Because the whole reason the NFL was lobbying for the less practices, less preseason games was because the injury factor.
Yeah.
When you still got Muggs getting hurt.
It's 17 games though. I feel like nobody has really factored that in. There's going to be 17 games.
Yeah.
So I don't expect them to play every single game. I don't expect them to play every single game.
If you're in the right position, you're probably not playing the last two games.
I mean, yeah, that's
if you're the Packers going in with Aaron Rodgers and you're let's God forbid, but maybe not God, that might have been a little high. Might have went a little bit to the higher power than I needed to on that one. But you know what I'm saying? If you're the Packers and you're coming in and you're 14-2 at that point, I'm probably not sending Aaron Rodgers out there the last two games. Right?
I gotta ask you all this, and this is probably something that'll take us to the break. But given what the state of the team now, given the potential injuries and stuff like that, what is a successful season? What was a successful season before these reports? What is considered a successful season now? Because
for the Bears?
For the Bears. Now let me just finish this. I'll say this. The reason why I'm asking that is because most people really didn't care what we did. They just want to see our QB develop.
Right.
So what? Now listen. Now I know that that's not what we believe. We want our team to do good as well, but that's what the feel of the city is. As long as Justin develops well, we good. So
11 and.
Ooh, 11 and
I was gonna say 11-6 at the end of the year. Justin starts. I mean, not
11-6, you probably playoff bound.
No, I mean not at the end of the year. Justin starts, but Justin starts at some point.
I'm gonna be real with you
during the season. 11-6, and then they get into the playoffs.
If you get 11-6 without Justin, he ain't starting.
No, Justin.
If you 11-6 and unless the first 4 of those 6 is Andy Dalton losing them, Justin ain't starting.
And then I was gonna say. I think it's pretty much gonna be tough though, because I mean I'm just looking at the NFC like it's limited playoff spots, and I'm already knowing that 3 of those teams is coming out the NFC West.
3 of those Arizona already.
Come on now,
they didn't do it last season,
dude.
They didn't do it last season, and they had D-Hop,
JJ, D-Hop, Kirk, Isabella. You got Murray back there. They finally got some speed at the running back position. JJ and Chandler Jones on both sides.
Yeah.
With Isaiah Simmons coming back, and they got Buda Baker, who just got his All-Pro honors. Hey,
too many.
You
just
still
like I screamed too open when they are on the corner.
Yeah.
Too open.
Yeah.
It's too many.
Still got Seattle. Sam Fran's coming back fully healthy. That's 3 playoff teams right there.
I'm only worried about Green Bay. I'm only ever worried about Green Bay.
I'm worried about any team with Aaron Rodgers on.
Yeah, facts, exactly. No, I'm gonna be real with you. I mean, at a minimum, as much as we don't want to, we say it's the extra spot. We don't credit it. Man, they made the playoffs last year. It's a playoff team.
Wild card, yeah.
You can't do worse than that and say you had a successful season. I don't care if Justin is developing. I don't care, because this defense is aging. This defense is going the other direction. This our health on the team as a whole is going the other direction. If Justin Fields is able to come in, I mean, listen, we're to the point we're signing 39-year-old left tackles because at one point in their career they were the cat's meow. I mean, listen, Jason Peters is going to be a Hall of Famer. But
I didn't know.
Are we really like we're to the point where we're signing 39-year like your team's moving the wrong direction. So even if Justin looks good, yes, we have our franchise quarterback, but what are we putting around him? That's the part that you have to ask yourself. Is Roquan? And now listen, look. If this season, we could be dealing with this now, and by the end of the season, we're one of the most healthy teams. That's just how football works.
That's how football works.
You know what I'm saying? We could be one of the most healthy teams. We could be one of the most dominant teams. If Khalil Mack is healthy, if Robert Quinn is healthy, if Eddie Goldman is healthy, this team is going to be better than a lot of people expect. But your offensive line is a big, scary issue going into this season. And so, to me, if Andy Dalton gets out of the season alive, that's a minor success on one front. But you have to make the playoffs. You can't not make the playoffs and say that it was a successful season.
He's in a better situation than Dallas, and he went 4-5 with Dallas. And he even said it himself.
This offensive line is starting to look real Dallas. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'm dead. Now, I was gonna say this though, real quick, for Ryan Pace, because I just had a little thought that just popped into my head. Danny Trevathan, I feel like that they should do this real quick. Because the Bears still got Trevathan. KJ Wright is available. You put him where Robert Quinn is.
Hey, look.
Have him replace Robert Quinn. Now you got Mac and
Quinn making too much. You're not replacing Robert Quinn.
Bro, that is KJ Wright. Yeah. I mean, he's still that man still had a decent amount of time. He's a free agent. I'm telling you.
You're also dealing with the fact
you can make some noise.
You're also dealing with the fact that Pace did mismanage the cap a little bit, and so now are you really going to be able to?
Man, you telling me ain't no left tackle sitting down at a desk being somebody's accountant?
No,
right now?
No.
It's the left tackle position.
Hey, you know who has them all? Tom Brady.
Are you telling me there's not another LeBron James just kicking it as somebody's secretary?
I
like,
say,
no,
hold on.
No,
I ain't say
no,
LeBron.
No, but that
I'm
is
not looking
no,
for.
but that's
like,
the magnitude of that position. That is the magnitude of that position.
I'm of the view.
A great left tackle is. I give you this caveat.
Eric
Fisher. Great.
No.
Eric
I
Fisher.
need someone able.
Eric
You got
Fisher.
Abel. You got Abel.
We have Abel.
You just signed Abel. He's 39 years old.
That's not Abel.
He able.
That's on my way out. That's the team. That's like the team they talk about before you get your bus in the hall. Like, oh yeah, he did play for the Bears for a stint. Like that's what he on. I'm of the view that you can take anybody able-minded. You can take any athletic person, able-bodied, teach them fundamentals, and they be okay at a professional level. I'm talking about professional athletic. I'm talking like, look,
we had
anybody.
Hey, look. We had Shea McClellan.
AD.
He could jump out of a swimming pool. Cool. That don't mean he could hit the quarterback.
AD.
this you know what I'm saying? Like athlete don't mean the Chicago's notorious for getting the athletic dude. We love the athletic dude.
Dog.
And the athletic dude is athletic for a reason because he's an athlete. That don't mean he can run a 4.40. That don't mean he can stay with a wide receiver that's 6'5" and go up and get it.
I'm gonna be real with you, bro.
They don't know. We don't talk about enough how coaches don't coach. It's like nobody's expected to teach anybody fundamentals. They're expected to mold what they already come with, not really open a book and teach them something.
You know what Chicago
why do they have to come ready? My fault, I keep hearing it. Why they have to come ready, like ready-made already? This is not a Hungry Man dinner.
This is not the blind side.
This is the thing.
I'm not expecting that either.
No, there are developmental coaches.
You kind of explain it like that because you want somebody to.
It depends on the sport.
Okay.
Athleticism works in certain sports. Like, listen, if I'm 7 feet, you can't teach height in basketball. If I'm 7 feet tall and I'm athletic, JaVale McGee's still in the league.
Hey, listen, you know what? I disagree with that because we got a clip of a 7-footer getting dunked on by a lot of people. I'm just letting you know.
Hey, look, anyway. But this is the thing. Was he in the league? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like,
hey, Boban's in the league,
in basketball, if you're 7 feet tall and somewhat athletic, that means you can block shots. That means you can stand in front of the rim and you can change the trajectory of what's coming to the basket just by jumping straight up. You'll find a spot in a lot of situations that way if you're NBA level athleticism.
Now, on the other side of the spectrum, if you're a smaller player with no speed, you've worn out your welcome.
But here's the thing. NFL, a lot of NFL is cerebral. Who's the dude that's just an athlete in the NFL? You know what I'm saying? Who's the dude that who's the player that is just
because who's the most athletic? Like the
DK Metcalf.
The most athletic.
DK Metcalf.
The most athletic right now is just.
I'm just saying.
Like, he said right now.
It's DK and then it was Barkley.
I still say Odell.
DK Metcalf improved on his route running. DK Metcalf improved on his hands. DK Metcalf had to improve on a lot of things coming into the league, but he also had to understand the system. Like Chad Ochocinco went to the Patriots and couldn't figure out the system, and then he was out the league. You know what I'm saying? Like it. So much of football is cerebral. So much of football is technique, especially when we're talking about offensive line, especially when we're talking about receiver. Like Devin Hester. Devin Hester was that kind of player. He was athletic, and he was our number one.
Steph, what did you say? Who you said?
No, wait. I got you.
With his own bar. Who'd you say?
I got you. Well, no, I didn't. No, I didn't say.
He said, "Who'd you say for most athletic?"
No, I said at the time because I didn't hear him say. I didn't hear you say right now. I said at the time it was Odell. Like for most athletic.
Yeah,
there was not one time that Odell was the most athletic athlete in the NFL.
Wait, what? He wasn't?
How? No.
There's no way that Odell.
Odell was a dynasty.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay.
He was. Stop. Hey. On the real, not even being funny. Stop the cap. He was lined up everywhere, torching y'all favorite defense, bro. Don't do that.
So he was more athletic than Saquon Barkley.
Don't do it. He extended Eli.
Yeah, he was.
He literally extended
So
Eli.
he was more athletic than Saquon Barkley.
He was more athletic than Saquon, but not at the same time.
Bro, not
He's talking about at a certain point in the NFL. He's not saying right now. He's not saying last season.
You can't play that slider because we all know that in the NFL, athletic is depending on the position.
Hold on. Let's be real.
Let's break down what we mean by athletic for real.
Athletic.
Okay,
First
what are we talking about?
First off, we got to take athletic into account. We got to take a quick break, but on the other side, we definitely gonna get into this. But we got to take athletic into account because y'all know if he's Caucasian, he's sneaky athletic. So that's a whole different ballgame. He's mad cerebral.
Real quick. Alex,
because I tell you what,
Caruso,
Daniel Jones ran 20 miles an hour last season, and nobody talked about that. Because he fell on his face.
Alex Caruso.
Sneaky hot.
Alex Caruso.
Sneaky? He is a bucket.
He got a 38-inch vertical. Sneaky hot. Right. What? Who's sneaking?
Hey.
Come on now. I really don't think Odell was a top 5 athletic athlete person in the NFL. He was never the most athletic in the NFL.
You're really gonna argue this with me.
I
literally watched 16 weeks.
I don't care how many weeks you watch. You could have watched them forever. Don't mean nothing. No. You watched that one play.
He extended Eli for 2 whole years.
I will say that. He definitely extended
Eli. He extended Eli for 2 whole years.
He extended Eli Manning career for sure.
No, with nobody,
you can literally say that for a couple of wide receivers in their QB.
Wait, what?
Yeah, but
you can say Julio Jones extended Matt Ryan.
Nah, Matty Ice nice. Matty Ice.
Nah, that's nice.
Matty Ice gonna be nice without Julio.
He might not have a killer instinct.
Hey, look, you know why? hey, you know why? Because Matty Ice never went to Julio in the end zone. That's all you gotta say. That man hated it.
Look at the coverages,
man. We're going to take a quick break, man. We're going to come back on the other side talking more NFL. Going to get into a little bit of baseball late as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Windy City Breeze talking Chicago sports, hot Chicago sports talk. We'll be right back after this.
Barely the most athletic on his team.
The Contender.
I've had enough. Had enough of these bank bans, enough of people saying what they think is correct and they're late to the party. Could you just be honest? Did you think objectively? I'm not someone with a huge following, but I know my audience. I know they come to me for the truth. Lots of people go to other people for the quote-unquote truth. Don't mislead people. Don't tell them the Cubs are going to make the playoffs. Don't say, quote, maybe with a little luck, Cubs will reach the postseason, and we'll see if Arrieta is still the stopper he's always been in October. What? Did you honestly believe Jake Arrieta, after those couple of years in Philadelphia, was going to come in and be a stopper? Won't. Jake provides a much more reliable option at number 2 or number 3 behind Kyle Hendricks. Mixes up the very similar looks. Hendricks, Alec Mills, and Zach Davies will get batters. Wait a minute. I think my heart just palpitated. He's a reliable 2 or 3? This is what people are saying? Accredited writers saying he would have been a reliable 2 or 3? Do you follow baseball? Do you know who he is? What he's done? No, you don't. Because you're acting as a fan and you're not acting as an objective reporter. Oh, Jim. No holding punches today. Because I've been appalled and shocked at the reaction I've seen to the Cubs trade deadline and to the aftermath for this team. Here on Sports Talk Chicago.
Now it's time for a Chicago Sports Sit Down with David Schuster.
I consider myself damn lucky to have covered sports for a long, long time. I saw both the White Sox and the Cubs win World Series. I've seen the Blackhawks win 3 Stanley Cups, and one of the most dominant football teams, the '85 Bears, win the Super Bowl. And, of course, Michael Jordan and those Bulls winning those 6 NBA titles. I've also been to some iconic places like Lambeau Field, Notre Dame Stadium, Madison Square Garden, and the Great Boston Garden, to name just a few. And now I can cross another place off the bucket list, Dyersville, Iowa. Dyersville, Iowa? What? But this is where the Field of Dreams movie was filmed and where they played a Major League game on Thursday night. It was the White Sox and the Yankees in what will likely be an annual contest played in the middle of all those cornfields. And Major League Baseball did it just right. The field was manicured to a T, the atmosphere was festive, the beer was cold. Yes, I did have one, but it was post-game. And Kevin Costner was there to both narrate the TV opening and thrill the crowd. Now, the crowd had a great time, and they saw the ball flying out of the park into those cornfields. Must be that light Iowa air. And for the record, the White Sox won a thriller 9-8 over the Yankees, Tim Anderson winning the game with a walk-off home run. And even before the game, Commissioner Rob Manfred confirmed that this will be an annual event, and rumor has it that the Cubs will play in next year's game, or maybe it will be their minor league team located right up the road here in Iowa. Actually, that might be the better choice, the way the Cubs are playing.
As the sports landscape leaves the pandemic behind and hopeful fans look toward the future, a bright summer is on the horizon for the south side of Chicago. Get the best in White Sox talk all season long from Pat the Designer on The Contender.
The Contender.
The countdown is on until week 1 of the NFL season. Listen all preseason long to the Windy City Breeze crew and John Zaglul from Sports Talk Chicago as they break down all the happenings from Bears preseason, including the quarterback battle between Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. For the best Bears talk all season long, keep it right here on The Contender.
The best sports talk from Addison to Madison, all around Chicago and the world. It's the Windy City Breeze with Pat the Designer on The Contender.
We've been coming back too smooth on the show. This a real Kimi Casanova fit. Mac Daddy, let me stop real quick before we get canceled. Welcome back to the show. As always, man, it is your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. I'm joined by the squad, even though they just bust a little move. They'll be right back. Y'all know how we do in the stew. It's tough when you can see everything that's happening. But if you're listening live right now on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on The Contender, we appreciate y'all, man. Make sure y'all tune in. This is the only Chicago sports show that's talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. Make sure that y'all get in tune with us and rock with us as always, man. And man, listen, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on all of that stuff, man. Get especially me, lock in with me at Pat the Designer on Twitter. P Kid is at 1P Kid. Make sure y'all get in tune with us on there. Follow us on there because I'm on there. I've been on Twitter so much more lately because I forgot how fun Twitter was. Now I had to unfollow a lot of people because some of y'all wild out there. Y'all got chill. Wild. Twitter is almost Reddit, but not quite.
I got kids. I can't just be popping up with the phone like, "Hey, what's that?" Can't do that.
You know what I'm saying? By the way, hey, stop liking the pictures. You know what I'm saying? But
oh, I got hit with one.
You got hit with one. Who liked it?
No.
Oh.
No. It popped up. I'm trying to flick off because my kid is there. I'm like, I don't know who that is, but I gotta. And I hit the like. I'm like, dang, now I gotta go back and find it. Like, oh, no.
Hey, we've gotten to the point where we would definitely call each other out in the chat on if you out here liking these shows just too wild or liking these pics just too wild, man. Let's go to the phones real quick, man. We got Devin. I think Devin was trying to call in earlier. Let's get Devin on the line. Devin, what's going on with you, my boy? Yo, Devin, you there? Devin going once.
Yo,
Devin going twice.
Yo, can you hear me?
Oh, there he is. Now we got him. What's going on, my boy?
Bro, I was going to say, look, I know what's going on the phone. Hey, but look, man, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, okay. So real quick, man, I wanted to say, I think everybody's kind of sleeping on I think everybody's kind of sleeping on the David Montgomery thing, man. I like David Montgomery. I think is about to be a beast this year. I think last year I thought people gave him a little too much hype. I think everybody kind of pumped him up a little bit, and he was kind of living on that, man. Because David Montgomery last year, everybody was giving him hype, but he wasn't running nobody over. He just wasn't doing what we thought he was gonna do. But it was his first year in the league. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna mess him up too much. Matt Nagy, man, I am this close from being off the hook with Matt Nagy. I like the dude personally, but I need to really see if he can call plays, man. I need to really see if he can call plays, and that's my biggest thing right now, man. Can Matt Nagy actually call plays, bro?
No, that's facts. That's definitely going to be huge for the Bears, man. We appreciate you for calling in, man. We got to get to the fantasy segment of the show, so make sure you stay tuned and rock with us for that, man. He made some good points, though, kid. Stay safe out there, all right, Devin?
Already, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Peace. He hit me with an already. I ain't heard already since I was a shorty with the family out in Arkansas. What's up? Already. Already.
Man, I'm on board for anybody who's had some smoke for Matt Nagy, because I really don't believe Buddy is all he's. Hey, listen, he is a great scout.
Yeah.
I have yet to see him call a perfect game. There's no such thing as a perfect game, by the way.
The Dallas game last year.
You said Dallas.
Was that was still early enough? I believe
Dallas, bro.
No, Dak played that game, I believe. That's still early. Oh, you just got overall smoke for Dallas.
I didn't say he was a defensive coordinator. I said, can he call plays? He calls
no. I'm talking about offensively. That was like Mitch's best game in a Bears uniform minus
but we played Dallas.
The beef on Dallas is wild. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us, man. We got to get to the weekly fantasy segment, and we got the whole crew back in the building. We got Big Travie and Johnny Game Time Hicks in the building. Boys, what's happening?
What's going on, fellas?
How y'all feeling, man? How y'all feeling?
Hey, Pat, I just got to say, you got to give us that smooth intro when we come on, man. That song was something else.
Hey, listen, we're working on an intro for y'all as well, man. There's something coming in the works. And I got a little music coming y'all way sooner than later, so be on the lookout for that. Hopefully by this Friday, y'all will be able to get in tune with that as well.
I just have to say, man, jumping on and being, backstage and listening to you guys, talk about, Dave Montgomery, man, it's getting me fired up, man. I wasn't even on the show, and I was like, if you looked over on the bench, bro, you would have seen teammates trying to hold me back. That's where I was in my seat right now. Like
pay no attention to the random Akita in the building.
That's a beautiful dog, man.
Man, that thing is huge. Every time I go over there, it attacks me. So I think he's having some issues right now, but we're gonna keep it moving real quick. Hey, listen, I actually love you all segment because again, I am a newbie. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I just sit there and I look at. I know the players, but in terms of how it all translates to a good fantasy game, like I always get lost on that, right? So. We talked heavy about QBs, RBs, and things of that nature. I actually have a question for you all. What's the one topic that we have not touched on that you all find fascinating about, fantasy leagues?
Well, I'll jump in here, Johnny. I think one of the big things that people don't realize is an overall strategy you want to try and come into your league with, like into your draft with. Like you can like all these players and understand, like you said, you can understand players to a degree, but how does it affect your roster or more specifically your league? Knowing your league's rules and knowing your roster setup and what positions are going to be more valuable is really important in fantasy, and it's something that's taken for granted. So you look at the way that running backs are usually more injury prone and more susceptible to injury, and then therefore a more valuable part of your lineup. You can then go and say, I want to be running back heavy to start my draft, but then realize in rounds 3 through 7, there's a lot of wide receivers there, right? So there's an area of your draft to attack, and then knowing that, as well as knowing your league mates and trying to figure out what they're going to do is all a big part of fantasy that people just don't tend to talk about enough.
I would say the biggest part that always gets kind of overlooked, especially at this part of the year, right? We're all so hyped about football, hyped about playing fantasy football, and we take the perspective of the whole season, right, as a whole. And so we tend to, grade these players, and we talk about these players on a whole season long kind of scale, which is important, when you're drafting. However,
Mhm.
we tend to forget, or a lot of people tend to forget, especially this time of year, that this is a weekly game. So just because you draft, like, let's say you go down your draft and you're like, I'm going to start, this guy's a starter, this guy's a starter, and, all the way down, you fill out your roster, right? Like, that week 1 starting roster is not going to be the same as the week 5 or as the week 10, or if you make it that far all the way to week 17 or 16, wherever your championship lies. Even though we like to think that, chances are that's not going to. And in order to be the best fantasy type of player, you need to be able to adapt and move around those pieces. And that's how you're going to get the most out of your roster. It'd be like, you see these football teams, these actual football teams that we like to, we're playing this game, but they don't always use the same wide receivers on all their sets. They mix up guys, they find matchups. So that's what you kind of look for. Like, don't get lost in the, what are they going to finish off as the end, as the QB1 or QB2. Like, more so look at these games individually.
I got 2 questions. So watching the preseason game last week with the Bears. My first question is, with Nagy coming out and saying that Justin Fields won't be the starter, and we know Andy's going to start. What round would you draft Justin Fields, or where do you think he should go when drafting him in fantasy? And then my second question is, because I feel like this is something that we haven't touched on yet. When the draft is over, can you guys please explain, like, what is the strategy on trades? Because I feel like that's like a really big thing coming out of the draft. And the thing is, I'm not the type of person, like, if I got some good pieces, I don't want to get finessed.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to. I need you guys to, like, really break that down and tell me what I should be expecting or looking for when trying to make a trade with somebody else.
I'll let Travi answer. Travi's the trade master. This guy has won multiple championships through trades that I have no idea how he pulls off. But I'll let Big Travi answer that part.
So the biggest thing is, we're all social people on this platform, right? We're all talking to our boys. We all like to talk. Keep talking to your boys, especially in your league. That's what you have to do, because if you leave the channels of communication open, it's really easy for you to slide in kind of and say, hey man, I see you're weak at wide receiver. I can help you out there. So you don't want to be finessed. Start doing the finessing. Start being the guy that
you can't finesse a finesser.
That's right. You can't BS a BSer. Just same thing. So, like, we are trying to actively open lines of communication, and not in a facetious way. I was joking there, but, like, you don't want to be fake either. But, like, if you got boys in that league, or if you got league mates you want to learn about them, talk to them, because then when you go to make a trade, it's going to be a lot easier to have a conversation and open the door for that trade. I think the other thing is you're going to look at teams as an overall whole and not players. Don't fall in love with a player in a trade. Fall in love with trying to get that position better on your roster. And so what I mean is, if you need a wide receiver and this team is weak at wide receiver, but he won't give up that certain wide receiver you want, find another comparable wide receiver on his roster or on another roster that can get you where you need to go with that. And then I just think that don't be afraid to take what looks like a bad trade to your league mates, but could actually be a good trade based on playoff schedule or like schedule for that player, meaning that he's going to have a lot of good matchups coming up and other things of that nature. So I just think that it's multifaceted, and that's, it's a good point you brought up. We were talking, what are some of the things in fantasy that people don't talk about a lot? The other thing is that, we all get excited for the draft and, like Johnny said, end of season stuff. Waiver wires and trades are just as important, if not equally important, to all the other things that we're talking about here. And so making sure you're on your waiver wire and making sure you're trading correctly is a way to dominate your league every year.
And as far as your second question I guess it was your first question about Justin Fields. Just go in the. I'll be honest with you. Just go into your draft. You're not going to get him. You're not going to get him because chances are you're drafting with a lot of people that are also from Chicago that are also going to be fans. So they're going to most likely be more willing to take them higher than you are. I mean, I have to deal with that as a Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals fan. I just go into all my drafts saying I'm not going to get Kyler Murray because I drafted a lot of people from Arizona. So that's the one thing I'll say where I would start to look at him he's probably going to go higher than this. So I won't be targeting him in drafts, but probably around the 12th, 11th round, I think it's fine because those are dart throws anyway. His upside is there. I mean, look at all the rookie quarterback. We had some good showings, right? But Justin Fields was the only quarterback to actually throw a touchdown and run for a touchdown in the same game. So I do think it is going to be sooner than later. Like Andy Dalton's days are numbered. He knows it. You could tell it on that interview that he had just a few hours ago. He knew his days were numbered. He tried to flex.
This is my team.
Yeah, he tried to doing this, his flexing. Hey, this is my team. We all know, bro. Go ahead and sit down. The real starter is going to come out sooner rather than later, and he's going to be awesome. So, it all is personal though too. You can always make anything work. You could take him as high as 8, but just know that hey, I now have to outmaneuver myself in the next coming rounds in order to kind of reel that back in. We always say and remind people, you always have to watch the players that you like as well. Like, don't just go for a player because quote unquote experts, fantasy analysts say he's going to be good because there is a chance he's not. So if you really like Fields, you really believe in him, we believe in him, then take the gamble. It's worth it because then you like the player, and if he pans out, bam, you have a great season.
If you don't mind me asking, in a 1 QB league though, wouldn't be wise to pick someone who's kind of battling for that spot because now you're missing out on valuable points at that point, right?
Right. So like what we've said before is you could pair him with someone like a Kirk Cousins who has a good start of the season to the month. Or a good month to start the season, right? You like four games for Kirk Cousins are really good to start the year as far as secondaries that he faces. And then you got a situation where like if Fields is 2 to 3 weeks into the job, which I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know how they're going to look. And you guys could tell us, you're the Chicago you guys got the ear to the ground out there. Like, I don't know how they're going to look at Fields 2 more games in the preseason doing what he's doing and go like, this guy has to not be our starter. It's to me, I know, Pat, you came out with that video, which I think is a great video of like getting Dalton those reps, but like, to me, I don't know how you look at this and don't walk it back and say like, yeah, Fields has got to be on the field.
I think that's the biggest thing with it. Like, to me, I came into this, me and Kid kind of had a little bit of debate on it. I'm like, look, I don't care if you run Andy out there. Just tell me it's a competition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Like Matt isn't saying that it's a competition, which is the reason I put the video out there, because if it's a competition, okay, listen, Fields got a chance to win it. It's a Russell Wilson situation. We're talking about Andy Dalton as a starter like he Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? No, he's got it. There's nothing he can do to win this job.
But too, with Nagy, unfortunately, we've come to realize that he is stubborn. So if he says something, he is going to stand on it. So
at a minimum, Andy Dalton's playing 1 quarter of the first game.
Best believe he has to be like severely wrong, like with the play calling, severely wrong for him to walk anything back. So if he says Andy's starting, he will be starting.
You want to know a quick something that he could like it's just one saying. Dude, you're about to be fired. And he'll switch real quick. He'll switch real quick.
If we're going to take the chance, though, I'm going to be honest with you. If we're talking about just rookie QBs, I feel like there's a better chance for Mac Jones to start before Justin Fields.
Sure, and I get the allure with that because obviously we saw Cam Newton and we saw Cam Newton in that preseason game, and I love Cam Newton. I love prime Cam Newton, but that guy, I think he's done, right? So like we've got a situation with Mac Jones. The problem that we're talking about Justin Fields and Trey Lance and even, Jalen Hurts in his second year better than we're talking about Mac Jones. It's the rushing ability, man. Like these guys are going to be able to run at the quarterback position, which in fantasy gives you that floor. It gives you more rushing points because you're getting 10 or you're getting a point for every 10 yards as opposed to a point for every 25 yards when you're passing the ball in fantasy. So that's the difference there. And I just think that there's way more upside. Yeah, Mac Jones gets in there, but this isn't a team that's actually, loaded with offensive talent where you could see that he's going to be maybe a passing yard leader or a passing attempt leader with New England. There's no way he gets there. And that's what you need from guys that we call statues or pocket QBs that aren't mobile in fantasy.
Who's the guy that you saw week 1 that fantasy-wise you're like, okay, I wasn't expecting you to be on my radar, but now I might have to take a little bit more of a look at you. I know we really only saw the 2s and 3s, but who's that guy that you saw week 1 that really was like, oh, okay, let me adjust the draft board a little bit and maybe move you up the scale?
Johnny, did you have one? Because I got one too.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Quez Watkins for the Philadelphia Eagles is a guy I'm looking at, right? They have a lack of depth at wide receiver and pass catchers right now, and that dude was just away from one touchdown, scored another touchdown, and seems like Hurts has a little bit of a connection with him because he looked to him a couple times there. So that's something I'm looking at in a team, where it could be. Ramondre Stevenson on those New England Patriots is another one. I know he rumbled off against the 3s and 4s, and we have Damian Harris and Sony Michel, and we're always afraid of the running backs in New England because there's 15 of them. But Ramondre Stevenson is a guy that's a big bruising back, but also can make the big play as we saw in preseason.
And mine would be Rondale Moore for the Arizona Cardinals. I was a little skeptical, and I always kind of dialed back my projections a little bit for Cardinals players. And when I watch this, I mean, I understand AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins were on the field, but they targeted him early and often, and were getting him the ball in multifaceted plays of the game at all points of the field, which got me excited because if you think about it, he was getting targets and getting the ball worked into the game plan without those two. If you put those two on the field as well, I don't know how teams are going to defend all 3 of those guys. And most likely he would be the guy that would be the most, have like the least corner on him that's like as far as dominant. So they could really take advantage of that. He's very fast. He could win you weeks for sure because he'll get the really big long bombs. So I got really excited for Rondale Moore, and I was like, okay, I got to move him up a little bit as well.
I like it. Go ahead.
And my question was, I don't want to specifically ask about any one player, but who coming off injury is gonna have a big bounce back this year in fantasy?
Barkley.
Who?
Barkley.
A lot of people are on that one. I would say Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, to me, I know a lot of people are going to cringe at that, but Joe Mixon, I could definitely see them, especially early in the season, relying more on the run. Joe Mixon is a very talented running back. I know people can't remember like what he was doing in the earlier part of his career, but this guy was averaging 1,000 yards per season, and he had, I believe it was 18, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been 16. Numbers aren't coming clear in my brain right now, but it was either 18 or 16 touchdowns in those 2 years as well. So the touchdown upside's there. He's going to get the bulk of the carries. People are just scared off him because, he was hurt a lot of last year, but I think he has a great bounce back season this year.
Yeah, I could say, I could cheat and say Christian McCaffrey because that's really easy to do because he's at the top of your draft board.
I got the number 1 pick in the draft, and that's probably where it's going.
I mean, just because we've seen like that guy, he's a walking, 25 points. He rolls out of bed with him. But I'm actually going to say Dak Prescott. I know people are worried because he's come back from the ankle and he's got the shoulder thing going on, but that offense is just loaded with talent, and we all hate the Cowboys. I get it. But they are like for fantasy football, I got to put my emotions aside here. And I got to say, look, that dude's got a stacked offense. The offensive line is healthy and back together again. This is an offense that's going to throw a lot. It's a defense that's very bad. Pat was talking about the best game that Matt Nagy had probably against that Cowboys defense. I don't know if that counts, but definitely we'll go with that.
We'll take it.
That's the point. When you have bad defenses, as you know, and you have a fantasy offense, they're going to be in shootouts a lot more. And I think that plays well for Dallas, and that division is obviously not something to write home about. And I just think Dak Prescott's poised to be, he was on pace last year, guys, in his 5 games. I know it's a small sample size to have the best quarterback season of all time. He was on pace for a boatload of passing yards, and I think that offense picks up mostly where it left off. And now you're talking about like Cooper in better shape than he's ever been, CeeDee Lamb emerging as a real star, getting guys like Blake Jarwin back, and then Zeke also in really, really good shape, that Cabo shape he's saying. So there's a lot of stuff at play here for that Dallas offense.
I got a segment. Oh, go ahead, AD.
No, quick follow up. Then who, in contrast or the flip of that, who would you be weary of coming off injury?
Yeah, I'll let Johnny kind of piggyback off this, but Joe Burrow's one that's got our attention right now, coming off a reconstructed knee. We've seen that before, and like I know a lot of people want to love Joey B, smoking cigars and the Tiger King, but he's a guy that he's got the offense, he's got the weapons, and you want him to succeed. You see it, but that knee worries me. That offensive line worries me, and there's just a lot there that kind of scares me off of him.
For me, it's Saquon Barkley. He scares me. I understand he's a tremendous talent, but that dude tore up his knee, and it was not that long ago. And he's just barely coming back from rehab. I think that, people are expecting him to be the Saquon of 2 years ago. And that's not, other than Adrian Peterson, running backs don't just generally come back and then run for, 1,500 yards, after having like their whole knee redone. I think that you'll end up finding, and what you end up seeing is these players that try to push it back, come back too fast. They end up hurting themselves in other areas because they're compensating for that leg or compensating for being a little bit extra cautious with that knee. And I think don't try to find, we always say this, don't try to find injuries because injuries try to find you. So I don't want to go after a guy that I already know is coming off a significant injury.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to, because we've been having a conversation all day about offensive line with Tevin Jenkins going down with the back injury, how do you take that evaluation into account? I know with a quarterback like Kyler Murray or a Justin Fields, or even a little bit of a Joe Burrow, although the reason that he was running for his life is because that line was that bad. The reason that his knees messed up is because that line was that bad. How do you take that into account? Is it, hey, look, this guy's going to be running. He's going to be running for his life, which could get me more yards PPR-wise, or is it he might die halfway through the season like we saw with Burrow?
Yeah, with a guy like Burrow who does not have the legs of a Kyler or a Jalen Hurts, that's something that we're not really – we don't look at with fond eyes when we talk about that with Joe Burrow, when we talk about that with, other offensive line that scare us. Daniel Jones, for instance, over in New York, who should have the worst offensive line.
My quarterback.
Yeah, but I will say that what Danny's got going for him, Danny Dimes, is he's got legs, man. That dude actually is low key one of the more sneaky, Russian quarterbacks.
We just said whenever it's a white dude, it's sneaky speed.
Sneaky upside. Yeah, that's right, sneaky speed. But I would just say, from the quarterback position, you want a great offensive line, especially for those guys we call statues, those guys that are going to be back behind the pocket. So it's a big evaluation there. For the rushers, I could, kind of care less for the most part because he's going to be able to do his thing. But you've seen in the past, how it can affect you with a guy like RG3 or a guy like Russell Wilson in years. Like, he hasn't missed any time, but he's vocally spoken out about how his offensive line was bad. So you can see how that becomes an issue for some of these guys going into it. What I will say, it gets a little overrated, just to switch positions here, is running backs and their offensive line. Now, we wanted a good offensive line for your running back, but PFF showed us that top 5, we had 10 running backs in the top 10, and they were split between the bottom 10 offensive lines and the top 10 offensive lines, which means if you got a good running back, you got a good running back. And he's gonna get it done. So don't be too afraid to lean into a guy and you're like, well, he's kind of got that. Saquon's an example. If we didn't have the injury thing, you'd be like, well, he's got the worst offensive line in football. Yeah, but it's Saquon F. and Barkley. Like, we don't really care. Like, that dude's he's gonna make it happen. I would just say, like, those are the situations where you could kind of look at offensive line as an evaluation.
There's some freaks of nature to the rule, but
right.
When I know for me personally, if I'm looking at your line when it comes to a running back, it's about, is it the mid-level guy? You know what I'm saying? If it's the, we see that dude every year that it's like, wait a minute, what is Kenyon Drake doing running for over 1,000?
Kenyon Drake is my boy. He is a great runner. Actually, Pro Football Focus proved that he was like a really good runner. That's how you actually do kind of see some of these running backs, how talented they really are. For example, another guy, same team, Miami, terrible offensive line last year. Myles Gaskin actually is when you look at missed tackles, where he was getting behind the line, hit behind the line, and still averaging the yards per carry he was actually a really good running back. So you kind of get a sample of both. Obviously, like Travis was saying, though, it's always nice to have a great offensive line, but like Minnesota doesn't have the greatest offensive line, and still Dalvin Cook is one of the best, and same with CMC. Carolina's offensive line isn't great, but CMC is the number 1 overall running back right now.
For sure.
I got a quick question.
Go ahead, kid.
Just real quick. It's about the least sexy positions in fantasy football.
Kickers?
Kicker?
You already know where we're going. I've lost so many games by a few points.
Yep.
And it's either if I had a better defense or kicker, I would have been right there. There's always exceptions to the rule. So what are the kickers or defenses that you can just kind of project right now? You're like, if they're there, you got to grab them.
With kickers, we're always going to advise streaming and Travis can explain. We have a pretty good system on how to like judge what defenses and what kickers you kind of want. But we'd always advise streaming a kicker and a defense as opposed to saying, hey, just go out and grab this one kicker and you'll be set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you just want to look at guys that maybe aren't teams that aren't converting in the red zone as much. That's a good thing to look at. They go to the red zone and they convert, but they convert field goals opposed to touchdowns. So like a team like Cincinnati was one that I was targeting last year going in because I thought that offense would be better, but not great. Whereas Dallas, you maybe target Dallas because of Greg Zuerlein, great leg, but is he going to be kicking a lot of extra points because they're scoring? Now, late in the year, he turned it around because Dak went down. So those are some things that are qualifiers for that. But you basically want to look at top 15 offenses and then look at the ones that you think are probably not going to convert on many touchdowns and going to get you in spots. And then non-cold weather teams. So when the weather turns, you're not a guy kicking in the snow. Like, don't choose the Buffalo kicker. We don't want to do that. We want guys in domes. We want guys that are going to be kicking on soft turf and on all the conditions out of the way. But also don't discredit, like you said, you feel like it's been kicker that's cost you a couple times. Don't discredit the power of the kicker. They definitely have a little bit. They're people too, as we like to say. They got it too. But
they are athletes.
I do want to say something about defenses, though, because Johnny brought it up, and I think that's actually a little more important than the kicking position. We have to look at defenses as an ability to kind of capitalize here. If you stream defense, which we suggest you do, because what you can do then, if you save kicker to maybe all the way to the end, you have a situation where then you can stack these like guys we're talking about in preseason, Quez Watkins, and you're like trying to figure out if he's going to win the battle or if he's going to be a starter. You can do that with more ease if you're kicking or punting the position of kicker and defense at the end of your draft and giving yourself more time, and don't pick those up till week 1. Right. And then you go into week 1 and you're saying, what am I looking for? Well, I want low over under games because there's not going to be a lot of points scored on that defense. So we're looking at Vegas's line and we're saying, I want a low over under game. I want a team that's favored and usually at home in that low over under game. Okay. I want the Bears against, Bears maybe last year against Detroit at home, because these two teams are not going to score a lot of points, but the Bears are going to have that opportunity to get a late pick 6 or a fumble 6 or a fumble recovery to win the game that can spike my points. You're going to fall more around 7 to 10 points weekly, but you're going to give yourself that opportunity to strike against a team that you're playing against that may have San Fran or Pittsburgh or LA, these elite defenses. But they, what they had to do? They had to draft those defenses in the 10th, 11th, 12th round of their drafts and give up on players that you were able to stack for the rest of your roster. So there's that trade-off cost there. But I think if you're looking at teams that with, games with low over-unders where the home team is favored, that's definitely something to look at when you're streaming defense.
Man, you're not getting this kind of fantasy talk nowhere else, man. Let me tell you right now. Well, actually, let me tell you that. You are getting this kind of fantasy talk somewhere else. Go check them out at the Fantasy Whispers on YouTube, man. Yes. These guys, Big Travie, Johnny Game Time, these two come through every week providing some of the dopest fantasy content on the web. So make sure to get in tune with them and follow them on Twitter at Big Travie TFW and at Johnny _Game Time Boys, we appreciate y'all for pulling up another week, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you
always.
guys.
Much love, boys.
Man,
Hey, man, y'all stay safe out there, man.
You
Thank
too. Peace.
Man, dog, where you getting that kind of production in the fantasy? First off, AD might win some games this season.
Hey, legit.
AD
I might
might
win
win
some
some
games.
games.
I'll
this
bet
season.
y'all
Hey,
head,
man,
bro.
No,
I'm
you know what?
trying
Though?
to
I'm
take
not
the
gonna
whole
lie to
thing.
you. I'm definitely gonna try the streamlining the defense because I would always say, like, you know, I would always at some point I pick the Bears defense because it's the Bears
Hey,
defense.
real
And
quick.
it would be like you would see it and you'd be like, yo, I got the Bears defense, but it's Tom Brady. What do I do? Should I can't cut him? Do I get two?
last year?
Do I get? You know what I'm saying? So
Hey.
I kind of want to try the streamlining defense.
For me, it was
Hey,
Indiana last year.
Hey, real quick, I got a little story for y'all. So, it was I think not. It was the second year I was playing fantasy, but the whole year, Pat was mad at me because the Bears had just traded for Khalil Mack. And he was like, yo, I'm finna get them in fantasy. I'm finna get them in fantasy.
Oh, you picked them right
I'm
before.
finna get the Bears defense in fantasy. I picked them like right before he did. And the whole season they ate. And every time they score, he'll text me
That
like,
was that 2018
I hate,
season.
bro.
See? That's why you been getting finessed on them trades for that move right
Hey,
there.
yo, Ringo be getting
I
mugs
be right
offering
there.
him. They be getting mugs offering him.
Dude, I be right
so
there.
much trash. I don't know why they be trying to play Ringo like that. But they come in, they be like, so I'll offer you a half dead dog and the bullet to put it down with.
Bro, for real.
Aaron Rodgers right now. And they be having like real conversations. Be like, dog, y'all gotta chill with me.
Let me ask you this though, Ringo. Are you really good at fantasy?
Ringo bring a lot of stuff on himself. So I'm gonna say that Ringo bring a lot of stuff on himself.
No, but be honest. My teams was stacked. That year that I was a quarter away.
This year is gonna be tougher because we did 10 teams a lot. This year's a 12 team league.
Nah, it's definitely.
If you don't draft right early,
I know how to draft. It just be the try, bro. They really be trying to finesse me.
This is a long play. This is a long play right here. You got to follow me for a second. So, are you good at fantasy?
Yeah, for the most part, I've never missed the playoffs. I've never missed the playoffs. I've always been to at least the second round.
Are you good in Madden?
Yes, Rick. Bro, listen. I'm gonna tell y'all right now.
For those in the chat,
I'm gonna tell y'all
Ringo is
right now.
ranked in Madden. He's like a really highly ranked player.
Bro,
for some reason he can't win against Pat.
Bro, right now, I'm 9-2. I'm 9-2 with the Bears. I'm 9-2 with the Bears, bro. Now,
I see.
But have you ever won a Madden league?
Bro, the first year I was about to. Dude, listen, y'all don't understand.
Listen.
I was only 2 minutes away. I was 2 minutes away, and I was 2 minutes away in Pat League, bro. I was 2 minutes away. I smoked everybody.
Hey, Atlanta was
it's no lies detected on my end. He will tell you it's no lies detected.
Hey, he was killing.
It's no lies detected.
He was killing that first year, but we ain't seen him in the Super Bowl since.
I'm nice. Bro,
he was killing that first year, but we didn't see him in the Super Bowl.
Bro, y'all finna see me this year.
How many years has it been?
Well, so with Madden, you play multiple seasons inside of 1 year of Madden. So I mean, we probably played 6 seasons last year?
Yeah.
Probably played about
back to the Super Bowl since the first season.
He about 1-6. He ain't have you been to the bowl? I think you've been to one.
No, I've been to the bowl.
You've been to one more, but you lost.
I've been to 2 NFC Championship games.
So you super cold at Madden on a national scale. But for some odd reason, you can't beat the hometown Bulls.
Hey, shout out,
bro, it's just Ken. Because Ken act like he mad nice.
Him and Ken rivalry is the greatest thing ever. He had Ringo watching tape. He had Ringo in the playoffs like, dog, I don't get it. What am I missing? Dog, it's the greatest rivalry.
I dare y'all to come see me.
We cannot put.
I dare y'all to come see me.
That group chat cannot be put on.
I dare y'all to come see me,
It is the
bro.
most disrespectful chat in the history. Well, maybe not in the history.
Ringo,
We don't get it.
According to them, I could just play for a week and keep up with you for some odd reason. I'm just letting you know right now.
Stop.
I wouldn't go that far.
Stop.
I wouldn't go that far. But you should hop in the league. It's
Stop.
bad in the
I don't play video games, so I don't even know.
Stop.
Hey, well, you would die.
Bro,
you would do about as well as you gonna do in fantasy.
It's literally only 3 people in the league, bro. It's me, Ken, and Jalen, and then you right there. The only reason why you up there is because you know how to build a team.
I want to see how we do it this year too. Yeah, that's gonna be different because last year at the beginning, Ken was forgiving a lot of money that should have been like Key's team should have folded.
But
he built the Chiefs with
but the thing is,
he got every superstar player ever. That man had like $1 billion in luxury tax.
We need a new commission.
Like, the Chiefs got to fold, dog.
Yo, y'all out here giving $500 million to Lamar.
Oh, that's X. Yeah, he a wild boy.
Yo.
hey, yo. We appreciate y'all, man, for tuning in and rocking with us, man. We got a little bit of time. We got about 15 minutes left on the show, so we got to get into a little bit of because you wanted to bring some White Sox talk.
White Sox,
to the
baby.
Show.
White
Sox, baby. White Sox.
Shout out to the
Hey,
White
listen.
Sox.
Yeah.
Game recognized.
I'm working on a track right now to see if I can update the theme song for the Sox. They probably not gonna roll with it, but good Lord, we gotta update White Sox. White Sox, go White.
Can we also talk about Kanye West?
Kanye coming to Chicago. Who's going to see Donda? Who's gonna go see?
How much
Donda?
are the tickets?
I'm gonna go see it.
I'm gonna try and get in there.
Hey, can I sneak in?
Dog, did you see the photographer that got in?
Yeah.
He was sitting.
Wild.
He said I had better seats than Kim K.
Because he faked his credentials. Like he faked them.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, I leave it alone. I thought about it.
Getting press credentials.
No, not at all. We will get our press credentials legitimately.
Jesus Christ, what are you talking about? Easy there, brother.
My bad.
But no. Listen, White Sox are playing excellent. They're definitely moving in the right direction. Are they? Because you wanted to bring up the Sox today and talk about them a little bit to see. You know, you got some concerns.
So
right?
what's the concern?
I'm gonna be real with you. Okay, first of all, we all know I don't got the marquee. We don't really need it because the Cubs
at this point you need a refund.
But
at this point,
seriously, everybody need a refund. But
marquee,
I'm looking at it and I'm watching this. I'm watching the series versus the Yankees. Right. I really don't like agreeing with Kid. I really do not like agreeing with Kid. However, with the additions that the Yankees made, I would say I'm legit looking at a carbon copy of the Sox. Like you're legit looking at a carbon copy of the Sox. Now I legit want to. I legit want to. No, I want
on the Yankees.
I legit want to ask Pat this. If the Yankees get in, could we be looking at a Yankees Sox ALCS?
Absolutely.
Because this is the
you said ALCS?
This is the thing.
Okay.
This is the thing. I'm gonna be honest. Now you said I've been listening to everything you said.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get better with my baseball points. The rotation drops down to 4, right?
Yep. In most cases.
In most cases. So
every now and then you'll throw
the rotation that I'm looking for. So you're looking at a 4-game series. So I'm looking at would I say Rodon versus Cole or Gio versus Cole? Because
depends on health.
I don't know the rotations, but I would dare to say that since I'm looking at a carbon copy, they're trying to bring Severino back.
Yep.
The Yankees could take the Sox, all because I'm looking at Gio has struggled.
Nah, bro.
Gio struggled all season.
Giolito?
Giolito.
When you say Gio for the Sox, I'm thinking Gio Gonzalez. I'm like, easy now, brother.
No. Giolito struggled for the Sox all season.
Yep.
So it's like I'm giving that first game to Cole. Then after that, because Like the rest of I get a second game to Rodon, but then after that, it's literally just who's getting to the bullpen first.
Hold on, real quick.
And
Your rotation currently now is Gio.
You talk about Giolito, Rodon, Keuchel, Cease, and
Keuchel is your third starter?
No, I wasn't going in order.
Oh, okay.
But probably. Keuchel, I'm going to be honest with you, Keuchel might not even make the playoff.
No, y'all need
a starter.
Y'all need a five-pitcher rotation.
Well,
because
no,
the way
they don't.
Manages that first starter needs the most rest before the next season.
You're gonna get a bullpen game in there if it goes.
I don't like that in the playoffs.
No, listen.
You have the best pen in the league,
but
why wear them out?
Here's the thing: you're not gonna wear them out because what pitcher on this staff, when dealing right, because we've seen Giolito have his struggles, we've seen Keuchel absolutely have his struggles. I mean, he hasn't been as advertised since he's gotten here. But what pitcher when on, which if you're in a game, you're assuming that they're on, can't go 6.
Can I just say this though?
Go ahead.
Can we know that they're going to make the playoffs? The White Sox, that is, right?
Yeah, right. More than likely,
division winning.
It would take an epic collapse.
Division winning.
But can we really be happy when considering that they've played half their games against a subpar division, basically?
I'll say this though. You can't take division into account with a lot of it because the Yankees are in a tougher division, or
not just a tougher, a much tougher.
Okay,
much tougher.
The NL West and the AL East are always very tough divisions.
Right.
And the White Sox have failed to show up against all their tougher opponents.
But here's the thing.
They beat the Astros.
Here's the thing. This is what people don't take into account when you're talking about that. It's tougher opponents for a reason. There's maybe 2 of your top. I think Tampa Bay's 500 versus their toughest competition versus above 500 team.
But that's how you make the playoffs. You just have to be 500.
You gotta be somewhere near 500 versus the top teams, and guess what? You beat the crap out of all the other ones.
Yeah, you beat who you're supposed to beat.
That's very normal for baseball. That's not something that I look at and I say, oh my God, the Sox aren't going to be able to do it, because with a lot of these teams, it's about. Listen, if you look at a lot of teams, remember the Cubs on their World Series run. When August got here, it started getting ugly. You're like, what's going on with the Cubs? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, wait. You get to September, and it's like, oh, they woke again.
Right.
Hey, they woke again, y'all. They're back.
You want to peak at the right time. 2016, I was worried because you go on a losing streak too late.
I wasn't worried.
Or too soon.
I wasn't worried.
You'll come out of it.
Well, you think about.
I wasn't worried at all.
Think about the White Sox World Series. The White Sox lost. They had a 8-game lead, I believe, and they lost all of it.
Yeah.
They lost all of it. You know what I'm saying? But it's about catching a heater at the right time. They finished the season well, and guess what? They took off. A lot of teams that are in the position to be a World Series contender struggle in August. Listen, the Yankees are catching a heater at, you hope, what's going to continue to be the right time, because they're also dealing with some injury issues, and they're going to get some pieces back.
Hey, and they're looking at somebody like the Mets, who are on a losing streak right now.
Yeah, they done. They done.
They might not be, though. They might not be.
Wait. Time out. According to James, they done. According to James' Twitter, they done.
James be going hard at the Mets.
Hey, according to Twitter, they done. No, but I'm looking at it. I'm taking into account stadium, and it's gonna be like straight who gets to the bullpen first, and it's legit. And the thing is, everybody throws heat on both teams. Like everybody, when Severino gets back,
this is the thing. Heat absolutely matters, but it's the kind of heat.
It's location.
It's the kind of heat. You know what I'm saying? Like when Kopech throws heat, I get a little. Hey, listen. It'd be 36 inches of bare head up there. You know what I'm saying? Like
you gotta when
Kopech
getting up there. And if he's throwing 99, I have an issue. You're overthrowing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't want – you're a breaking ball pitcher. I need it to be around 92. That way the breaking could be 80, 85, 84, and they're whiffing.
Yeah, it's all about your location. It's all about with the Sox going into the playoffs. The thing that I'm worried about most right now is not hitting. The thing that I'm worried about most right now, I'm not because listen, they can hit. We've seen it.
Oh yeah,
we've seen them hit all year.
Shout out to Tim Anderson.
They're having a tough month.
Wait a minute.
They're absolutely
53% of your runs come from home runs.
Okay.
Hey.
How many teams are built that way in the league right now?
Sound like the Cubs to me in 2016.
Because the difference is we're not taking every other game and scoring one run.
I'll give you all that. But I'm looking at it and it's like, yo,
that's baseball now.
I
don't trip on that. That's baseball now.
You got to look at AL versus NL. AL has always
it's literally the same team.
And always have at least 2 errors. That's how the AL
it's literally the same team though. I mean, outside of
talk about Yankees and the Sox.
Outside of the Sox having TA.
If I'm facing the Yankees, there's a couple people that you absolutely got to worry about. Listen, it's impossible to get Aaron Judge out. Aaron Judge is a guy.
Gardner.
Aaron Judge.
Ringer.
Let me tell you something. I saw Aaron Judge get into 3-2 counts so many times in the Sox series and just turn on one that was in on his hands and just
you might have
to go.
You might have to calculate it, like you might have to pitch around him almost to save the pitch count if it gets up there.
And I think I'll tell you this, and that might be what it is because to AD's point, I'll pitch around Judge. I'd rather face Giancarlo Stanton.
Yes.
But after that, you got Joey Gallo.
Hey, look.
You gotta choose.
Hey, listen.
Bro, you got Rizzo. You gotta choose.
People you have to. You have to choose. Okay, so you might not want to face.
Time out though.
Let's be real. All the names you named, you're not choosing Judge.
Stop me when I'm legit. You have Rizzo,
there, but they not Aaron Judge,
dude. You saying it's not names. You got Rizzo draws walks on the. You got Rizzo, which is an automatic walk.
First off, I'm hitting Rizzo every time.
Nine times. Hey, on the real,
you can't do a man like that.
Rizzo
I'm a Rizzo fan over here. Can't do Riz like that.
I'm just saying you gotta pick. Because you're not dealing with you're dealing with 4 bats.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but it's gonna come down to the pitching staff in that situation, and that's how the playoffs is gonna be. And I'm gonna be real with you. I think that the White Sox pitching staff is going through some struggles right now. I'm a little worried about Liam Hendricks in the ninth. Craig Kimbrell might have to be the guy you go to in the ninth in that situation.
When I text you after that game,
he might have to.
I hit Pat after the Field of Dreams game. I said, "Why you get my man's from the north side, only to have him pitch a clean 8th?" And then give it to this joker right here.
Well, listen, Liam Hendricks is an excellent closer. The Sox have the 2 best closers in the game on their team because Aroldis is hurt right now.
Is he really?
Yeah, he been out.
Right,
that's how we got the walk off.
What's the injury?
Shoulder? I don't remember.
He was walking through that corn like he was playing.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, look.
When he get back, though.
You didn't see him out there in the ninth getting. But I think to me when we're talking about the Sox going up against tough competition and facing tough that's what you're gonna face. And when we're talking about their record, like listen, a lot of these teams just struggled against tough competition. The Yankees record versus the tough competition ain't good. But we're also talking about what the Sox are so good, we forget that they're still dealing with injury issues.
Yeah. Right.
The team still ain't there. Yaz is back Monday. Adam Engel just got hurt again. Like we got to figure something out.
What is his issue?
But
what was his? He left with some hamstring tightness.
Nagging.
He said back.
Huh?
Oh, never.
Was it back? It might have been back. I don't know. But I don't remember exactly what his
injury was. But
to me, it's like we're talking about a team that is just now getting right, just now starting to fit its pieces together. And yeah, it still looks good. Luis Robert hitting home runs, Eloy hitting home. They're still just now getting right. Yeah. They still got to get some chemistry together.
But my thing is though,
about the Sox, they have to limit those defensive errors or mental mistakes.
But the thing,
have to turn the double
but the
plays.
thing is though,
have to get out
my thing is the Yankees are going through the same issue.
True.
And the reason why I'm legit asking the question, like, are you worried? Because, like,
well, we're gonna have to talk about that on the next
when
episode
they
of the
get
Windy
there-
City Breeze, because we're gonna have to get out of here, man. Hey, yo, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us. It's your boy Pat the Designer, as always, joined by the squad in the stew. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. We appreciate the love, man.
Go White Sox.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.